We're live.
All right. So I got a red dot on Joe's. Should there be? Okay. So that's when it switches. So that's the wide shot. Do I need to do anything different?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh. Are you going to be able to see viewers? Are you going to be able to see that? Sorry. Trying to give you more to do.
Hey, Sam, do this too. No.
No, because I know we're going to want to see you. He would have done that anyway if I would have said it.
Yeah.
Three. Remember those good old days?
Three. Yep. Three. I laugh every time I hear that.
Oh, yeah, those are on old episodes. Mm-hmm. Those still exist. Welcome to Dawn of Mantis. True crimes, mysteries, and more. I'm Ivan with Joe and Sam. Hey, guys, here's what I was thinking. I was thinking about this earlier. I want to do a shout out to someone, but I don't even know if they really exist, but I think they exist. So here we go. Let's call her Betty, but it could be anyone. She's working at her desk. She listens to our podcast every week. She's really the heart and soul behind the company. If it wasn't for her, everything would go south. She sits there. She has a boss that just takes off whenever he wants and doesn't appreciate her. But you know what? She's just sitting there and she's always in a good mood and she just works and everyone knows she's the heart and soul of the company, but she doesn't get the pay that goes along with it. So this goes to you, Betty, or whatever your name is. But really what I'm trying to say is I think, I think we are out there so much that I'm not really sure who's listening, but I think a lot of people at work are listening to us. I've heard that a few times for some people. Yeah. So that was a long way around to say that. But
I'm sure Betty exists.
Yeah. I mean, a Betty-ish person, right? Mm-hmm, so, hey, we appreciate anyone that's listening, but especially those people that, we're distracting them from like jerky bosses and stuff like that. They just get in their work zone and listen to us a little bit. If we can help like 1% with that, I feel really good about it.
Yeah, I think we've kind of mentioned something similar to this before, when we're like, this goes out to you, Gerald, who's driving a big rig across the plains of Kansas right now. Or
that's right.
This goes out to you, Amy, who's...
If the truck stops, so does America, right?
That's I get that. Bud Light Real American Hero tribute
That's
thing.
right. It really is. Yeah. Truly. Yeah.
It's a Dawn of Mantis podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
No, that's not the right cadence. It's the Dawn of Mantis podcast. There it goes.
There we go.
This
goes
out to you,
at the
Mr.
end.
Podcaster.
You gotta add hero at the end.
We made one of those one time.
We did. We did.
Probably wouldn't be able to be played publicly.
Most things we've ever said or done aren't allowed to be played publicly.
Right.
But it's okay. This can be.
We have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. So, is everyone doing okay tonight?
I'm doing phenomenal. What about you, Sam?
I'm doing good.
Ivan, still got some Halloween candy left? Yeah, I got some Halloween candy left.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of going slow on that than I used to. I used to kind of gorge myself. like my kids would go to bed and I would like be the secret, get all the good stuff out. But I'm trying to hold back just a little bit.
We've devised with our youngest a system. We created the Candy Goblin. Or I don't know. We probably didn't create it. My wife probably saw it on TikTok or something.
That works. What's the gist
You just
of that?
pick out a very small portion of candy. The child does that they want to eat, and the rest of the candy we put out in a bowl and stuck it outside. And sometime over the night, the Candy Goblin took it and left her a present.
Oh, no, that's smart.
Which was like a SpongeBob RC car racetrack.
Yeah.
So
that's
that way,
smart.
Yeah, she trades out a lot of potential cavities and sugar in her veins for a present, and she couldn't be happier about it. So that's what we did.
Because really, it's the thing. You only eat it because it's there. That's why I'm eating the candy, because I think about it.
Yeah.
But if it didn't exist, I wouldn't think about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
you ever think about some cake or dessert cake or snack in the kitchen and you're just sitting there watch TV and you just like know it's in there.
Oh, yeah. Right before I came over, like my youngest had a birthday yesterday, breaking the fourth wall, and there's half of a SpongeBob ice cream cake in the freezer. I've went it so many times, just when no one's looking, I just kind of walk out. It's in the freezer in the garage. Walk out to the garage with a fork, open it, just take about 4 bites, and then walk back in there.
They think you're going in there doing dad stuff. I got to check on the regulator for the furnace. I don't know.
Yeah, that's good. If I say anything like that, my wife's just like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know those words. Go ahead.
Yeah. Why are you taking a spoon with you, though?
Yeah,
Well,
well,
I need it for the.
You have to depress the
Check valve.
discombobulator so the check valve can modulate. Everyone knows that.
We act like they're dumb, but they're not as dumb
No,
as
no,
we're
no.
acting like. No, they
Like,
pick up on
I'm
it.
sure she knows. Like, you know,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
I'll come back in. She's like, go easy on the cake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Good job, Mr. Dad. So we got a case tonight.
Yeah.
And it's leftover Halloween candy in a sense.
Yeah, as
right?
it was, the last episode on Chris Jenkins, I explained that I ended up with a surplus of Halloween episodes. Turns out lots of people have either vanished or been murdered on Halloween.
Yeah.
Maybe that shouldn't be a surprise. Halloween is, of course, the spookiest and most mysterious of all holidays.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I want to hear this one. The last one is a really good one. So let's see what happened here.
We're going to
Or
cover
what we think happened.
Yeah, we're going to cover 3 disappearances tonight. The first was a man named David Stone.
Okay.
This is a pretty famous one. His case was covered on Unsolved Mysteries.
Okay.
It's a really good one. I watched it while doing this research. And then after that, we're going to cover the cases of Patty Spencer and Pamela Hobley.
1-800-876-5353. Is that what we said it was? Is it 876? I don't even know. That used to be the old Unsolved Mysteries hotline.
Oh.
I know it's 5353, but I'm not sure about the 876.
I bet it is. You've got that committed to memory, I'm sure.
I don't know. Give me too much credit. But great show. Loved it. That show is probably why I like true crime and stuff so much.
You hit it, man.
I hit it?
Yeah.
So, I wonder
knew
if it's
you would.
active. I wonder if it's active.
Call it.
Let's call it.
So, yeah, we're going to take just a moment.
Didn't we do that? We've done that before.
I think we have.
Yeah,
let's do it
Do it
again.
again.
We've done every bit before, but it's actually been quite a while. By the way, speaking of stuff like this, it's not related to this, but make sure you like us on, or make sure you go to donnamantis.com, go on our Facebook, and do you subscribe? No, you don't subscribe on
I don't
Facebook,
know.
do you?
I don't know.
Make sure you like us. We're on there, donnamantis.com. Go straight to Facebook.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people do now, so we decided to do that too. So go on there, shoot us a line really fast. And while I'm calling Unsolved Mysteries.
And he's going to put it on speaker. I know we've done this before. I don't remember what the outcome was.
It is 800, though?
1-800-876-5353.
You nailed it, man. I knew. You've known that number for 30 years.
Well, I haven't said it in a long time, so I wasn't very sure if it was still live or not. Watch it be some kind of inappropriate thing.
Here we go.
Hello, and thank you for calling. To help us better service your needs, please listen closely to the following special offers available to you.
What?
Oh, my
Are you
goodness.
looking for affordable TV or internet at the lowest prices?
Oh, no.
No, I want to help solve a mystery.
So
why did some marketing thing
Looking to
take
book
this?
your next dream vacation or trip? Press 2 for cheap flights, airline tickets, and airfare deals.
That's a bummer.
Maybe it'll be like
A beautiful
press 9 to
hotel
help
room
solve a
at fraction
mystery.
Of the normal price? Press 3 to get a great deal on your next hotel reservation.
If you know who
For all
killed
other calls,
Janet
press pound.
Whitmore,
You can book a flight or solve a murder on the same service.
No input so far.
It should at
Looking
least...
for affordable TV or internet
That
at the
sounded
lowest
creepy.
prices with no annual contracts? Press 1.
Listen, it should at least be just a loop of Robert Stack saying, thank you for calling, or just anything.
some marketing team got their grubby hands on it.
Yeah, I'm glad we don't even know who it is.
Yeah,
Can't
we
even give him a
promoted
shit.
them, though, but don't use them.
Don't call that
In
number.
the memory of Robert Stack, do not buy anything from them. Oh, my goodness. Okay.
All right, so let's cover first the case of David Stone.
Okay.
David Lawrence Stone was born on March 18th, 1959 in El Paso, Texas. His parents, Harry and Carol, were fairly well off as David's father worked in finance. David was gifted both academically and athletically. He always made high marks in school and was usually one of the highest-ranking football players on the team, and these achievements carried over from high school into college. After college, David followed in his father's footsteps and began working as a stockbroker. He also enrolled in the Academy of Advertising Arts in the La Jolla area of San Diego, California. In both his career and his studies, David excelled as usual and was making a lot of money as well. On paper, David Stone seemed to have everything. But behind closed doors, play the ominous music, he was feeling empty. His new car, designer watches, and expensive wardrobe weren't making him as happy as he'd expected. Also, for the longest time, David had exhibited a controlling nature and was a pretty bad hothead. He had a short temper.
It's not good.
His father said that despite David's kind and gentle soul, he could also be very aggressive. But unlike so many other people, David had the self-awareness to realize these characteristics about himself and had been taking steps to combat them for the previous few years. Enter the New Age movement.
He was aggressive because of the cheerleaders, right? Because they're like, be aggressive.
Be aggressive.
So he took that to heart. Man, I'm going to blame that on the cheerleaders.
We blame everything on cheerleaders. New Age. What's that, Joey? Well, it's a grouping of spiritual and religious beliefs and practices designed to help someone reach a higher state of being or enlightenment.
Who else is in here?
It's the Christmas troll.
Oh,
He
yeah,
came
okay.
back. But you try to do this to better yourself, right? It's basically self-improvement. Mm-hmm. That's the super simplified version anyway. David had really leaned into the movement to help find a sense of purpose and deal with whatever inner turmoil was causing his volatile temper.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good.
I think a lot of-
check into yourself. Yeah, that's good.
Yoga. Isn't that part of it a lot?
Well, yeah.
Center your chi.
Yoga, mindfulness. It's
Mindfulness.
like, it's like the biggest battle you'll ever fight is trying to control your thoughts. Like, think of nothing.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Well, yogis say you can.
When you
but
said
it's just
that-
like the path, not Yogi Bear.
No. When you said think of nothing, I automatically pictured an elephant riding a unicycle. I just, where'd that come from?
Yeah. It's quieting your mind is something that they takes lifetimes to achieve.
We're such
for some
hypocrites
people.
because we open our show with that phrase, quiet your mind.
Yeah, but we know that it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Well,
it's good. If you strive for it, it's like if you shoot for the moon, if you miss, you land amongst the stars. I should have credited that quote to someone, but I can't remember who said it. But I can remember the quote.
I'm going to say you made it up. TM.
No. Mine's drop. What was it?
No, scramble eggs, not
Yeah,
jets.
scramble eggs, not jets.
That-
That's
now
the
that
only
was
one I
Ivan.
ever lucked into. I just see it as a T-shirt on a T-shirt, right?
We should make that T-shirt.
Yeah.
Let's call our guy. We have a guy. I got a guy
We
for
do.
that.
Hey, Todd.
Yeah, he lives in the
Scrambled
valley.
eggs, not jets.
Gives me a really good deal.
Norman Vincent Peale.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
He was the creator of that quote. Scramble eggs, not jets. Ivan Huff. There you go.
There we go. Yep, I'll take it.
All right. This brings us to the autumn of 1988, when David was 29 years old. Whether or not his New Age practices had been working up to that point, I don't know. But I do know that David's temper made an ugly appearance on October 28th.
Uh-oh.
That evening, a Friday, David hosted a Halloween party in his apartment. Now, at some point, one of David's friends found his golf clubs and was just, as far as I could tell, and as far as the cheesy reenactment on Unsolved Mysteries, he was just kind of being silly with the golf club in the living room, like, whoa, fairway, or he was taking
Yeah,
practice.
I got you. David didn't like this.
No, for whatever reason, he just got super pissed off about the guy touching his clubs.
Might have been expensive.
Maybe they were.
Did you touch my drums?
Don't touch my drum set. So yeah, David blows up, and he literally attacks this guy.
Oh my goodness.
So almost as quick, it took several people to pull David off. So something just snapped, and he was just fisticuffs.
That's bad form. I would say the New Age stuff wasn't working.
No.
Yeah.
Not at all if you beat the shit out of a guy just for touching your golf clubs.
Yeah.
But almost as quickly as he had snapped, David came back to his senses, and he seemed shocked and disturbed at what had just done.
Oh, so the New Age stuff maybe was kind of working.
Yeah.
Because he snapped back fast.
Really fast.
Yeah.
Like,
good.
from what I understand, as soon as they pulled him up, he was just like, seeing the guy like, oh my God, what did I just do?
Yeah.
And it really freaked him out.
Yeah.
So a few
He's like,
days,
I remember I suck at golf. I shouldn't be mad about this.
you can have the clubs, man.
He'd have done me a favor by breaking all of them. Yeah, I know.
Maybe they were Tony Penna gloves. Clubs. That's a brand.
Really?
Yeah. I know that because of some research I did on a different Halloween
Really?
disappearance case. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know many golf club brands. I know Ping and Callaway. That's about it.
Nope. Tony Penna.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Look it up.
Awesome.
That stuck in my brain. Yeah, we'll be talking about, there was a case of a girl named Martha Moxley who was murdered back in the 70s on Halloween night. We're going to cover her case in a few episodes.
Okay,
But
cool.
that Tony Penna golf club comes into that case.
Am I supposed to remember that? I'll try.
Try to remember that.
I'll try.
So a few days later, which was Halloween morning, David, he packs a bag, hops in his car, and he leaves La Jolla in the dust. Now, just before leaving, he told a friend named John Duffus, or Doofus, I don't know, Duffus. John Doofus. What do you think?
I don't know. I hope it's not Doofus for his sake.
Some guy named Alexander Dumbass. That was in Shawshank Redemption.
It's Dumas.
It's Dumas. Dumbass. Anywho's, John Duffus, that's the friend. He tells him, look, I'm hitting the road. I'm not even sure where I'm going, but I'm only going to be gone for a couple days.
Okay.
David expressed frustration over his behavior at the party, and he said he just needed to get away a while, clear his head, and find himself. This is something the New Age movement refers to as a vision quest, a common rite of passage for those in that movement. We'll talk about that a little bit more in a little bit. Halloween, the day David left, was a Monday, so everyone figured he'd be back by Wednesday, maybe even Thursday at the latest. One of David's close friends was getting married the coming weekend, and David was the best man. So everyone was like, whatever he does, he will be back for that because that was a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, you would think.
Yeah. That was the plan anyway. But when Friday arrived, there was still no David. People began to worry. A few weeks prior to his disappearance, one of David's assignments at the Academy of Arts was to design a magazine cover for a place that he would like to visit. So he chose Sedona, Arizona. Have
Beautiful.
you ever been near
there?
there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful. Been there a couple times.
That's near Red Rocks.
It's not too far away.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say a few hours.
Okay.
But yeah.
Sedona is situated in a gorgeous landscape in central Arizona. But what a lot of people don't realize is the region is also very important to the New Age movement.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, when I
could see that.
I Googled Sedona, Arizona, and a lot of New Age stuff came up.
Yeah.
It's surrounded by areas of importance to the movements known as vortexes and is a popular area for vision quests. In fact, it's often called the New Age capital of the world.
Should have had a vision quest when I was down there, but I mean, you would. I don't know. It seems like it would only work if you were going to plan to do that. Not like there's not like a billboard when you get there. Hey, while you're here,
Vision Quest $29.95.
Yeah. Yeah.
All you got to do is go way into the desert, take off all your clothes but your underwear, put your shirt on top of your head as a cooling,
Yeah.
and then wander.
Yeah.
Eventually, you'll become so dehydrated that you'll hallucinate, and you'll see a nude. Let's say you'll see a nude. What would be a Celtic warrior, right?
Yeah.
From like the 2nd century or something.
Yeah.
And he will tell you what part of yourself you need to work on. That's how that works.
You're right. I've read about that before. That same exact thing. That's the exact thing you will see.
Follow the weird naked Indian. Remember that?
That's right. Yes.
That's
Yeah. So I there is a kind of a magic to that area. It's really cool. But I never thought about it like in those terms, but there is something really awesome about it. I can't really explain it, put it into words, but I could see how they could take something from that.
cool.
Yeah.
And you've been out there a few times, haven't you?
Yeah, but I just went like to the downtown touristy area, and then, one time we were down there for a thing, so we rented a car and went, and another time when we went out west, we drove, so we drove out there. So yeah, I've been in there 2 different ways, but it's pretty amazing.
You got to do a vision quest next time.
I didn't need to. I didn't know anything about it. Yeah. Yeah, I'll put that on my list.
So this is a weird thing, despite being so into this New Age movement, David really hadn't spoken a word about it to his friends. So when he chose Sedona for his project and made a passionate presentation about its significance to the New Age movement, all his classmates and friends were like genuinely surprised.
Okay.
Like, they had no clue.
But they were pretty cool with it?
Yeah, they seemed to be.
Good.
They were just like, it was kind of a deal like, David's into, who the hell knew that? That's super weird.
Yeah.
So I said all that to say this. Sedona, to his family and friends and the people searching, that seemed like a good place to start.
Yeah, for sure.
His parents began to place calls to law enforcement agencies in the area and also in neighboring New Mexico to see if he had been in an accident or any other situation that may have prevented him from coming home. Remember, this was 1988, so a trip into the middle of nowhere meant you were completely on your own.
Sure.
if you had a car accident or trouble, like if you broke down or something way out in the desert, you were completely at the mercy of a passing motorist or, locating a phone via.
And where was he driving from again?
He was driving from San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's basically just traveling east.
Okay.
Almost straight across there. It didn't take long to discover exactly where David had gone. The New Mexico State Police said that a car registered to David Stone had been found abandoned on the side of Highway 80 by mile marker 18. This is near the Granite Gap area of New Mexico. Now, this is it's not a town. There's really nothing even around it. It's very desolate, but it's named Granite Gap. There's kind of two peaks right there.
Okay.
Right by the highway.
Man, I do remember from when I was a kid, a lot of true crime things in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, there's a weirdness out there.
Yeah.
It's like high strangeness.
Because it's so remote. I don't know. I don't know. I just remember a lot of New Mexico cases.
Yeah, and I think you said before there was a lot of unsolved mysteries that were based out of New Mexico, those episodes.
Yeah.
So, look, this was much further out than anyone expected. This was nearly 400 miles southeast of Sedona, in the absolute middle of nowhere, like I said. The nearest town seems to be Silver City, and that's only about 9,000 people, and it was an hour away.
Yeah.
And so that's how remote.
So it's what he made his vision quest about Sedona, and then he went even further. I don't know. It's kind of. I mean, I guess you don't have to stick straight to what you made. I mean, maybe you knew of a better place later. They found out about or something.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Or there's got to be a reason he went out there.
And didn't it say he was born in El Paso?
So okay.
I'm thinking now while I was doing these notes, and we may pull up
you think he was going to El Paso from?
No, I think he had passed through this area in his travels because he was born in El Paso. So I think, obviously he and his family had at least once passed through that area. I'm guessing, like going towards San Diego. Maybe he had some kind of familiarity with that place.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense. So really, he may have just drove pointlessly and aimlessly until he just stopped. I don't know.
Man, how good is that El Paso song?
We got to play this out with Marty Robbins.
Man, it's undescribable how good that song is. If you hear it like late at night with some good headphones or good speakers, and just like the voice and like the loneliness, but also the togetherness, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense until you listen to it.
No, and I also have a nostalgia component to it.
No,
and
me too.
I know we all do.
Yeah.
I mean, some of my earliest memories are my dad playing that, and not only on his 8-track player, he would grab his guitar.
Yeah.
And, a deep will burn in my side. He would play it and sing it.
That's amazing.
Like on our porch. Oh my God, yeah. So it's almost like overload nostalgia for me.
I know we talked about that song during the Buddy Holly series for sure. Because there was a tie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a tie, and I rode with my daughter to get breakfast the other morning, and she just put it on her playlist. Her phone's connected to the car, and I was so proud because she's just got great taste in music, so every song's great.
Yeah.
But one of the ones that came on the way was El Paso.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
man,
that is amazing.
She's got to be one of the only 17-year-old girls
for sure.
driving around.
Yeah.
Blasting El Paso by Marty Robbins.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
So the New Mexico State Police began to interview the very few locals who lived in the area and discovered that several of them had seen a man matching David's description wandering through the desert in the previous few days.
That's not good.
Guys, it gets so weird here. One woman named Lillian Richens, I believe, and her family were driving along Highway 80 from nearby Cotton City. And don't let the name fool you. Cotton City consists of a couple of houses and ranches.
Okay.
It's not even a community.
Okay.
But anyway, they were traveling from there when they saw a car parked along the road with a man sitting on the hood. They stopped to see if he was broken down or needed any help, but the man assured her that he's fine. He said, "You can go along your merry way. I'm doing okay."
Okay.
Another person named Glenn Duncan had also witnessed David Stone. He said David was walking through the desert carrying a large walking stick and talking loudly to himself, almost as if he was arguing with an imaginary person. David was Should we elaborate or?
Well, I just wonder if old David researched some mescaline, which is peyote.
Ooh.
And I
Which
think
is out
that's, yeah, I think that's, if I'm not mistaken, it's native to that region. But just a thought, just an early thought.
No, you already are thinking ahead, because at the end, I'll tell you right now, two things. There's only two possibilities in my mind, and that's either a full mental break, just a snap from reality, or, like you said, some sort of drug thing.
Because they talk about how it's a shortcut to in the path. Well, not really a shortcut. If I say that, and somebody that knows about this they're going to scream at their iPod Touch 4. No, I'm kidding. But I don't want to say shortcut, but I can't think of a better word, so I'm going to throw out shortcut to help you in that path, to help you to
just reach that different state of consciousness.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But not, that you talked about to where he could control his thoughts, enlightenment, stuff like that. But I mean, maybe he read some stuff about quelling violent behavior with certain substances, and maybe that's what he's trying to do, which, it shouldn't be done. I mean, I don't know. You would think you'd want someone around for a safety net component or something.
A guide of some sort.
Yeah. But I mean, it was 80 something, so it's pretty early.
True.
Early but late, depending on how you look at it on that front.
Yeah, because the 60s were really, I guess, the heyday for the acid and LSD. Well, it's the same thing. And the shrooms, tripping. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what. So you probably knew I jumped to there pretty early, but that's where I'm going to go.
Yeah. Well, and I'm with you. So look, David was only wearing a short sleeve shirt and shorts. The desert gets really cold at night in November.
Sure. Yeah.
Really, way more than people realize, I think.
Yeah.
So Glenn asked David if he needed any help. Again, David declined the offer, and he insisted everything was fine. But the strangest encounter of all was with one of the farmers in the area, who had also asked David if he was okay. David replied to him, "I'm all right. I'm just looking for the beast."
Oh.
That's all he said before he wandered back off into the desert.
Maybe he's talking about Mr. Beast.
Well, he's such a good guy. He gives people so much money.
He says that you can set up your own Shopify account. This is an ad for Shopify. I don't know what Shopify is. But he was like, here's what he said. This is what this guy said. Mine sold out within minutes. You can do the same. Like, oh, I can do the same as Mr. Beast. Mine's going to sell out?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm like, 17 people on Earth know who I am. I don't think it's going to sell out very quickly.
I don't know. Hey, there's something for positivity, I guess. But, sorry, Mr. Beast sidebar. He's our friend, so if you want to like us, it'd just be the same thing as liking his page.
Same deal, practically the same. Yeah. We need to throw him a bone because he's struggling.
He is. His Shopify, it took 4 minutes to sell out instead of 7 the other day.
Well, the beast that David Stone was talking about, from what I understand, because I don't know much about the New Age movement, but it's whatever darkness or negativity is within us.
Yeah.
So to become enlightened, you must find this beast and conquer it.
That's why there's a lot of movies like, in even the Mortal Kombat movie, I think, but the Mortal Kombat game, one of the final bosses is your mirror self. Oh. And I think it's touching on that. Like, and there's been other things too, like you must fight the ultimate, or not the Ultimate Warrior. That's a different guy. You must fight, somebody at the end, and it ends up being you. And have you seen that in a movie before, like an 80s movie or something? It's like a mirror copy of yourself. Anyway, I think that's the symbolism. Like, that is you slaying that beast that is inside it.
Yeah.
The beast of yourself.
Yeah, didn't Jean-Claude Van Damme do that?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, but I remember that happening in multiple things. 417-4 Mantis is a hotline if you want to get on there and text it or call it. And
that makes sense. A lot of people are their own worst enemy.
Oh, yeah,
For sure.
For sure. And it's like there's a quote about like violent outbursts, like you can tear down your legacy in minutes, but, or you can tear down like a 50-year legacy in 1 minute of an outburst. Or there's something like that. There's some quotes about that. But yeah, so that's why he was going to slay that beast of himself.
Yeah.
We got pretty profound on this one, Joe.
We're very profound.
Profound.
Stay tuned. After this, there will be another short mini episode where we're talking about the different varieties of farts.
That will be profound.
52. So we'll even it out. As soon as we get a little bit profound or serious, I'm like, oh, got to take it back down a notch.
So it must not be a Joker, or was that with the Joker? I can't. Oh no! Wait, never mind. It doesn't matter. Go.
So 9 days after David left San Diego, a massive search effort began in the Granite Gap area. It was headed up by Boot Hill Search and Rescue and consisted of 4 planes, 40 professional trackers and volunteers, and a group of bloodhounds. Although David was not found, he had left several strange clues behind. This is where it gets even more weird.
All right.
Arguably, the first was where he had left his car near a pyramid-shaped mountain. I kind of think they're reaching a little bit. Most mountains are kind of pyramid-shaped. They come up to a peak. But
I would think, yeah,
right,
because of erosion.
Yeah. On the Unsolved Mysteries episode, the trackers are like, "Well, it's like, hey, it looks like a pyramid." They kind of all do, man.
Like Close Encounters. This means something.
Yeah. So anyway, passing up that, pyramids do have significance in many religions and philosophies, and New Age is one of them, and pyramids do come into this. Mm-hmm. Just a quarter-mile northwest from where David's car had been, searchers found a small pile of stones shaped like a pyramid that he had made.
And they found out before he left he was involved in a pyramid scheme that failed. So
friends helping friends.
There's 3 pyramids. Keep on going. I want to hear about some more pyramids.
You're going to.
Okay.
The next day, they found another small stone pyramid a half mile from the first pyramid.
Okay.
And this time, David had also left 2 quarters and his gold Rolex watch at the base of the pyramid.
Dude had a Rolex?
He had a Rolex. He was a baller. He was a baller.
Cool.
Had plenty of money. So but he didn't need that earthly goods. He left it by the pyramid.
Yep.
The next day, another 3 miles north and much closer to Granite Gap, searchers found the most bizarre clue yet. It was a series of numbers, and I think we talked about this on a previous episode. It's called a Fibonacci sequence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Fibonacci.
So that was written in the sand, but what confused, and we're going to get to what a Fibonacci sequence is, what confused everyone is that the last number in the sequence was wrong. So in the sequence, each number is the sum of the 2 preceding numbers. So the sequence should go 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, and so on. Except for instead of 21, at the end of that little sequence I just said, David wrote 18 and ended it there. So everyone, this sequence, and we talked about it before, is used by stockbrokers, and you explained it really well on a podcast the other day.
Yeah, so they can look at nature and they can look at orientation of the way flowers grow, and they like certain flowers certain ways. It's not a thing where they're applying the science to make it fit, because it's just everywhere. It's like things will grow in those patterns, things will reproduce in those patterns. Like you'll have like a some kind of coiled shell, and you can add the radius to it, and it will be Fibonacci.
That's crazy.
It's called golden ratio, stuff like that. There's a whole lot of really cool YouTube videos on that. I went on a deep dive for a while on that kind of thing. Where at first I was like, that's a bunch of junk, but you just start reading about in watching that stuff. It's just like everywhere.
So it's just
something about nature. It's just like structured that way. It's very hard to explain because I'm not a mathematician, but.
Do you know how it helps stockbrokers? Like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe it's predicting human behavior. I don't know. I mean, if you're predicting when people are going to buy and sell at a high rate, that's my only guess when you mentioned that before. Like, if you predict when people are going to do that and you know when to sell and buy, you have a huge advantage.
So, like,
because
if you're in
the
Congress,
stock market is,
sorry.
Yeah, well, some of that's insider trading, like trading where what Martha Stewart did, which a lot of people do. But like, if you knew for a fact, like, hey, people are going to lose trust in this stock and sell it a bunch or whatever, you'd have a huge advantage. So you could just be ready to buy when it like tanks or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's what they're talking about.
Okay.
Anyway, it's crazy. movie recommendation. If you guys get a chance to watch The Big Short with Steve Carell, it's an Adam McKay movie. Adam McKay's the guy that worked with Farrell on, like, I think Anchorman and stuff.
Okay.
A lot of things. But it's not well, there are parts that are funny, but it's all about like the big bank bailout and all that stuff, and how the real estate market was seriously overvalued for a long period of time. And this guy, Michael,
the 2008 thing.
Yeah. This guy, Michael, I think his name's Michael Burry. I think he predicted it all. A lot of people kind of predicted it all, and they gambled on the market to fail, and everyone thought they were crazy. Like, because you can do a thing. Long story short, you can do a thing called short selling where you're actually gambling for something to fail, and if they don't fail, you lose a bunch of money. But if they fail, you gain. Like this guy, gained billions because of all that. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
But it's crazy. It's because it goes into like some relationships about some not like female, male, or whatever, but it goes into like these little funds like doing all these things that are like shady. Just because everyone was doing shady stuff, like valuing these loans, like these are good loans, and they're all in a big package.
Oh yeah.
But there are only a couple good loans in the entire package.
Yeah.
And it was just like a glass, ready to break at any time.
Yeah.
Anyway, great movie though. I've watched it twice in the past month or two.
The Big Short.
The Big Short. Yep.
Let's watch it.
Yep.
I've never seen it. I'm going to watch it now.
There's a scene in there, really quick. There's a scene in there where there's a guy, a big financial guy that was like bragging about his fund and how strong it was. And this is true. This really happened. He was debating another guy that was basically saying some people there were already murmurs about how it was all trash. It was all lies. And so they were having a debate the minute that it started tanking. And people's phones were like going crazy. And
Really?
this guy just got done saying how he believes in the fund and blah, believe in, I would invest more, and all this stuff. And like people were just like looking at their phones and stuff. And then they just started leaving because they just realized like they were losing.
Oh my
Like
God.
everyone in that room was probably losing massive amounts of money because they're all interested in that and invested. So, and that's in the movie, and that really happened. I read about that later. It's craziness.
A way that I've found to shield myself and my family from events like that, from the 2008 bubble popping and all that, is just to not have shit in the first place. we felt nothing. We felt no difference.
Yeah, I really didn't either. I mean, if you weren't really into that, you wouldn't. But the only problem is some people had 401ks with a lot of money and it zapped it. Yeah.
No, I feel bad for all those people. I'm just saying we were just in a position, we were renting a place, didn't have shit anyway. And we were like, I don't know, we can't tell the difference.
Well, hey, one guy went to jail for all of that. And
One
it was
guy?
one guy. The rest, they all got bailed out.
It wasn't Madoff, was it?
No, it's just one
That was a
rando
different
guy.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No one learned anything from any of that.
Well,
in the companies that lost a bunch of money, they got bailed out by the government, and it's not even political. It's just stupid.
Oh, the same thing happened with Epstein and
Oh, yeah.
Ghislaine Maxwell. She's the only one that went to prison.
Well,
And
he did
where-
for a while.
Well, yeah, then he, whatever happened to him.
He committed suicide.
Sure. And she's the only one. And I'm like, for sex trafficking, to who? Who were your customers? And why aren't they in jail?
Yeah.
You know why they're not? Because they're all rich, powerful. Half of them are probably politicians, and the other half are CEOs and shit. That's why.
Skull and crossbones, man.
I'm telling
it's
you.
real. There's something like that's real, I think.
Yeah, there's a protection over those people for some reason because, Epstein's client list is pretty interesting. I'll just say that.
It really is.
It's really
It
interesting.
is.
So yeah, this 18 thing, I mentioned earlier that David's car was found at mile marker 18. Okay, well then this Fibonacci sequence ends at 18.
Oh, okay.
So that's why some people believe that 18 was another clue. Now, if you want to find it, you can find it. Maybe that's what it is. But they looked back and boom, guess what? His college football number was also 18.
Okay.
So there's 3 18s, 4 18, whatever.
Did they go to mile marker 21 and look? Wonder what was there.
Nothing. Tumbleweeds. Well, what the actual meaning of the number was, we may never know.
Yeah.
From there, no more visible clues were discovered, but the bloodhounds continued to follow David's scent another 9 miles to the north, where it abruptly ended at the intersection of Highway 80 and Interstate 10. Now, this was a full 13 miles from where the car was found.
Okay.
So if David had traveled that far, he had walked 13 miles in the desert. At the time,
possible.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, he was a really in-shape dude, had always played football, you know. It's definitely possible.
It wouldn't have been fun, but it's possible.
Yeah. So at the time, it was believed that David might have caught a ride at that location, but from there, obviously, anybody's guess.
Yeah.
With David's trail now cold, a more thorough search of his car was conducted, and more odd clues were found. The first was a business card tucked into a small Bible lying in the seat. The name on the card was Tony Ballesteros, and there was an Arizona phone number. David's father called that number, and Tony Ballesteros claimed to have never met or even heard of David Stone. Actually, on the Unsolved Mysteries episode, they interview the real Tony Ballesteros.
Did he seem like authentic to you?
It's only like a 4-second deal. It just shows a man with a mustache that goes, "Yeah, I didn't know him," and then he just went back to. So that's about it.
Well, imagine being the camera crew that had to fly out, probably to get a bunch of tickets and fly to Arizona from wherever that show was based at, just for that.
It's almost like a Family Guy thing. And now Tony Ballesteros like, I didn't know him. And it goes back to Peter or whatever.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So Ballesteros said he had previously been in the Granite area camping, I don't know, weeks earlier, I guess. He had stuck... This was his story. And they glossed over it in Unsolved Mysteries. But to me, I'm like, this is freaking weird. He said that business card, he had stuck it in a mesquite bush to help his friends locate the campsite a few weeks earlier. So in the whole desert, to mark, I guess, the place where they could find his campsite, he stuck a 1.5 by 3-inch business card into a mesquite bush.
Maybe they knew about where to look, though. But yeah, I get what you're saying. That is kind of, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But other than David finding the card in that location, he had no clue how it came in David's possession. As if this weren't strange enough, a note David had handwritten was also found in his car, and it reads as follows. And let's talk about this.
Okay.
Okay. Here goes. They think the word is in the safe. 6 knives in Rob's room. Use buys your tea and use takes your chances. Halloween. That's it. I'll read it again. They think the word is in the safe. 6 knives in Rob's room. Use buys your tea and use takes your chances. Halloween. That's what he wrote.
Wow.
So I don't know. No one knows who. I don't think anyone knew a Rob. I don't know who was Rob. Rob's room. The word was in caps. Like everything else was written normally, but word was all capitals.
Man, I want to sit for like hours and like let equations fly around in my mind like the guy from The Hangover. But I guarantee I won't get anything. That's amazing. And then what's with the use guys?
Was it Y-O-U-Z?
No, Y-O-U-S. Use buys your tea and use takes your chances. And then the word Halloween.
Is it Scruffy from Futurama? Remember him? Wow.
It's probably gibberish. Like, I think by that time, either due to the mental break or peyote or acid or whatever, I think he's just got scrambled eggs between the ears. And
do you have a picture of that? Like the original?
There may be.
Okay. No, it's okay. You could look later, but I'd like to see it.
I don't know.
I'm just
for
curious,
sure.
like, what it kind of looked like. You know?
Yeah.
I'm not going to solve anything. I know. But even if I did, we couldn't call the number now because of the stupid sales call.
All you can do is book a flight.
That's right.
Jesus. So yeah, hey, 417 4 Mantis.
4 Mantis. Yeah, that is still a hotline.
Yeah,
We
somebody
didn't
tell
sell
us.
that to some scum. Yeah, 4174 Mantis. You can text it or call it. We won't answer. It goes straight to voicemail. It's our Dawn of Mantis hotline.
Thank you. Yeah, we haven't mentioned it in a while.
We'll put that on Facebook later.
Facebook.
Facebook.
God help us, we're on Facebook. It's like a necessary evil.
It is.
You know, we want to try to get plays and be halfway successful, I guess you have to have a Facebook page.
You got to have fake book.
I guess you got to have it. Hey, let's post pictures of our breakfast and say, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
type breakfast LOL.
We usually, what I normally do, I don't know if anyone else does this. I go to Google Images and I find like some really good looking breakfasts and I post them as mine.
That's my breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
They're
then-
like, are you on the beach? Just saw you yesterday. Yeah.
And then
My life's fantastic and yours isn't.
do fix your hair, touch yourself up with a little makeup, and pose everything around you by your bed, and take a selfie, and then put mornings, ugh. You know, just really prolific shit like
Again,
that.
I use Google Images and find somebody that looks 2% like me and do that.
I'll post Russell Crowe,
That's right. That's right.
mornings, ugh.
Bad hair day.
I don't think that's Joey. Anyway,
Fake book.
like us on Facebook. We're hypocrites.
That's right. Yeah, we
But
are.
there we are.
Imagine asking for likes.
What a loser trying to promote something you work hard on and believe in.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
That was the last sign of David Stone for 4 long years, guys. 4 years, 48 months. And then on February 23rd, 1992, 2 hikers found a set of skeletal remains scattered in the desert near Granite Gap. Yep. Subsequent tests revealed that they were the remains of David Stone. But there was no way to determine a time or cause of death. It was just scattered bones at that point. To this day, no one knows for sure exactly what happened to him. So again, this was another thing. I'm glad I wrote this down. 3 possibilities. We'll add one.
Okay.
So you brought up the possible like tripping out on peyote or acid or something. And then there's just the good old-fashioned mental break where your mind snaps like a twig and you just get up from your desk, leave your job, drive 3 states over, and take a poop in someone's yard, and then jump off a bridge or something. I mean, people do that. Mm-hmm. Maybe not that exact thing.
It's probably somebody's done that exact thing.
So mental
A lot of
break,
people.
mental break, drugs, or I mean, this would kind of tie into mental break, but this was someone on Reddit, or so. This wasn't my original idea, but I saw a comment from someone that brought up possible CTE from he played college football.
Oh.
Before that, he played high school football. You know, there's no telling how many hits he took, how many concussions he may have had. That was a good point.
I'd give it an upvote.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what about just like regular old fashioned, lack of water,
Yeah.
Like, just a whole like heat exhaustion type thing.
And you will hallucinate with that, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So is that what you're thinking? Like,
With some substances, I mean, we could actually combine that with the substance use. Like you're just not in your right mind and you're also malnourished and dehydrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could see something like that. This doesn't seem true crime-ish at all.
no.
Unless the calling card, of course, the guy said that he didn't know him in 4 seconds. So,
Yeah, he's like, I didn't know the guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that was all on David Stone. Let us know what you think, people.
So did you say how close the card was to his final location?
No, it didn't say that.
Okay.
Really, in the final location of his bones, what I ever found, it only said the Granite Gap area,
Yeah.
which is where his car was near. His car was south of Granite Gap, though. But yeah, I don't know exactly where the card was or where his body was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think
It's a crazy case, though, even though I don't suspect any foul play.
no foul play at all. No, I don't suspect that either. I think that the guy was having some issues in his life, and he just drove out to the desert to try to find himself. With or without the substances, I just think he wandered out into the desert, and like you said, the elements kind of got to him eventually, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's case solved, David Stone.
Yeah.
We have a live stream viewer that says option 4, aliens.
Aliens
Oh, I love it.
did it.
I love it. That's
Yeah.
a good, option 4, aliens.
They took everything but the bones.
Yeah.
Or no, they abducted them, and then they just spit the bones back out. Look, aliens do.
Like an owl.
No, I'm not making fun of the thing. Like an owl. Alien pellets. No. Whoa. That could be a whole nother thing
That's a new thing we just created.
with the help of whoever that viewer was.
Yeah, they created. I guess. Yeah, they created. Take that, Skinwalker Ranch.
So hey, anytime they've just found skeletons, why couldn't it be aliens?
Mm-hmm.
Took everything, brought back the bones.
Or not even brought back the bones, but like
Let's think about like when we ate KFC, like it's just a bunch of bones in a bucket. Oh, to serve man.
oh, it's a cookbook.
That's right.
Get off the plane.
Yeah, that's right.
That's some old school.
Twilight Zone.
Yep.
What were you saying?
The aliens could have just picked him up and like on Fire in the Sky, they just dropped Travis Walton back off by that phone booth butt naked. You know, they drop him back off pretty close to where his car was, but he's in the desert, not near anyone,
Oh yeah.
and dies from the elements.
Yeah.
But there's no way just from the bones that they could ever tell that he was probed.
So, so aliens are just like that skanky family that just dumps a dog when they're done with them, like dumps them in the, like, like some alien teenagers picked up the human and wanted to keep them, but then the alien parents are like, no, like we should take him to the human shelter. It's like, no, we'll just dump him in the wild somewhere, and he can find a new family.
Wasn't that a Twilight Zone episode too, where at the end of it, it zooms out and there's like a little girl play and like all the people and the situations that you just saw.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they're like, "Stop playing with your toys now, honey." And it was like,
Oh yeah,
remember that?
that was a great one. Yeah, I do remember that one now.
Hey, for more on the Twilight Zone, listen to our episode on it.
Yeah, we did a deep dive on what the Twilight Zone origin and all that stuff.
It's way back there.
I did see one the other day, since we're just talking about rando stuff, I guess, where the fourth wall was broken by and I forgot which episode it was, but one of the characters saw Serling.
Really?
Yeah. I'll have to find it and send it to you. It was really cool.
See,
'Cause he did
who's
his-
that guy
he-
standing over there?
He did his whole little thing. I think it was at the end of an episode, but then the guy like acknowledged he was there, and then I don't know, he might have zapped him with a laser gun or something. I can't remember, but it was cool. It was the only time I've ever seen that. Yeah, I got to find that.
So yeah, option 4, aliens.
Aliens did it.
Okay, option 5, Sasquatch.
Sasquatch.
You know?
The old New Mexico Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Didn't have a lot of trees to hide behind, but he could hide behind those big cacti.
Yes, he could.
Just don't get too close, Sasquatch. Those are I got pricked with prickly pear, whatever they're called.
yeah, the little purple flower.
Yeah, my
pills.
finger was sore for like a month.
Really?
Yes. Be careful. You got those in your yard. Be careful with those.
However, those are edible.
They are. Oh yeah, they are. Yeah,
They-
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't know. I got a
Better get all those things off of them though.
Yeah, so like you said, I do have cactus in my yard, and they're covered in those prickly pears right now. And one of the family members that came by the other day was, those are edible, and I was like, yeah, you go get them. I'm not.
Yeah.
they're covered in spine. I'm not doing that.
I'd have to
Covered
wear
in
6
needles.
pair of welding gloves. I'm telling you, my finger was sore for a long time after that. Yeah. So, yeah, hey, great episode. Aliens, UFOs, yeah, Sasquatch. I can't think of any more. There's more though.
Yeah, surely there
There's
is.
a lot more possibilities.
So you might have to edit this out of the episode, but we're 52 minutes in. Do we try to do this one as well? It's 5 pages. Sure. So okay, good. Okay.
Oh, so wow, I shouldn't have rambled so much. I thought that
No.
was the end. I'm so sorry.
No, I leave that was all good. That was
Sorry,
all good.
Sam.
We got 2 more ladies. Not 2 more ladies, but 2 ladies. He'll clean this all up where we don't sound like shit. This is what happens when you listen live. When
yeah.
you listen live, you
That's-
hear when we are stupid.
Huge advantage for listening live. Well, it's also a disadvantage because it's not cleaned up at all.
No, but if they do listen to the cleaned up episode, they'll know, like, they didn't know that. They had to pause and look it up. Liars.
Exactly, yeah.
We don't do that.
They don't know so much stuff.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah.
So next, let's cover the disappearances of Patty Spencer and Pamela Hobley.
Okay.
On Halloween Day, 1969, we're going back. 2 girls vanished from Oscoda, a small township in Michigan nestled on the west bank of Lake Huron. Patricia Spencer, known as Patty, and Pamela Hobley, known as Pam, have not been seen since that day. So unlike David Stone, their bodies were never even discovered. Patty was born January 10th, 1953, and so she was 16 at the time. Pam was born May 24th, 1954, so she was just 15 at the time. It's
that.
yeah. It's not known exactly why the pair were together that day because although they did know each other, they weren't really considered friends. Like when they disappeared together, everybody was kind of like, well, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
They didn't hang out. But whatever.
Okay.
So we'll find out kind of the theory of why they left together that day.
Okay.
So that year, October 31st was kind of a trifecta of awesomeness, especially for a teenager, okay? Think about this. Obviously, it was Halloween, but it was also a Friday. It's so cool when Halloween falls on Friday.
It is super cool.
And that was the night of a football game for the Oscoda High School Owls. And it was their homecoming.
Okay.
So if you're a teenager, it's like, oh, shit, boom, 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 boom. Like, all these things are happening on one night. It's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Both Patty and Pam went to school that morning, as usual, but from that point, there are two versions of events. Version 1, they got bored at school, so after lunch decided to skip their afternoon classes. In the second version, there was a bomb threat called in to the school around midday. Although it only ended up being a Halloween prank, the entire school had to be evacuated for some time, so the kids are already standing outside in the parking lot. And it was at this time, according to the second version, that Patty and Pam were like, let's just ditch the rest of the day.
Seems way more plausible.
The highway's right there.
Yeah.
Let's just walk.
Yeah.
I kind of think that's what happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Whichever version is accurate, the last time anyone reported seeing the girls that day was as they walked away from the school east along River Road towards the town's business district.
But together.
Together.
Okay.
They were together.
Okay. So that solves that thing earlier.
Yeah. For those of you not watching on YouTube and can't see the map, the Oscoda High School sits a couple of miles inland and out of town. Even today, there's only a few houses nearby, and I'm assuming back in the 60s that those houses weren't even there. So what I'm saying is the school was very isolated.
Okay.
Pam had been raised by a single mother, Louise, who also had 3 other girls, Mary, Becky, and Betty, all younger than Pam. Before leaving for school that morning, Pam had told her mother that she was going to the football game and homecoming that night, as well as a Halloween party that was going on in town. Soon after the 3 younger Hobley sisters got home from school, Louise took them all out trick-or-treating for the evening, and she expected Pam to be home sometime later that evening, probably before they got home. But when the family arrived home, Pam was not there. Louise gave her eldest daughter a little more time to get home, but still no Pam. Despite her young age, 15, Pam had a serious boyfriend, actually a fiancé, because he'd recently proposed to her. Now, remember, this is not common now, but, you know, it was more common back then.
Yeah.
Pam was supposed to be with this boyfriend that night, so, you know, when Louise gets home, Pam's not there, she calls him. He answered, and he said, no, I didn't see Pam at the football game or the Halloween party after. So at this point, Louise, why did I say that? It's like I buffered for a minute. Louise, call me Max Headroom. At this point, Louise began to panic and started making phone calls to other parents. Several calls later, she learned that the last anyone had seen of her daughter, she was leaving the school with a girl named Patty Spencer, and that Patty was also missing. Louise Hobley's next call was to the Oscoda Police Department. The next morning, an Oscoda police officer came to the Hobley residence and searched it. Over the next few days, more officers searched more places, such as several well-known teenage party spots in the area. They found nothing. Their initial assumption, as always seemed to be the case back then, was that the girls had simply ran away. It's what we, you know, Missy Witt.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's like 50 other ones I can't think of.
Oh yeah, that's always the thing. Of course, like we said before, they don't know that family from anyone.
Right.
So whenever the family says, "Well, they wouldn't do that," I mean,
that's what every family says.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the other 50 times, the person did just run away and they came back.
Yeah.
You know, but then, yeah, I don't know. I think we've talked about that before, but.
Well, it's like today in my house, I heard Sagan laughing, and I wouldn't think he would do this, but when I walked in the bathroom, he had put like this. He had this stretchy toy that was like a ball you could bounce, but I guess it ripped, or it was a hole in there, or whatever. So he put it over the faucet in the bathroom and turned it on. And, of course, it ripped somewhere else, and it was spraying water across the bathroom. There was water all over the floor, and he was just standing there, like, laughing. So I wouldn't think he would flood our bathroom. if you would have asked me, I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
Like, would flood your bathroom purposely and stand and laugh? No, he's not that type of kid.
He wouldn't do
He
that.
would run to us and tell us. No, he did not. He flooded our bathroom.
He was just laughing maniacally.
So I can see, he had his hands like near his mouth, like. So I'm quite disturbed, but that's a small example of maybe the parent saying my kid wouldn't do that.
I can tell you this. I did a lot of stuff that my parents, when I was a teenager, my parents were like, Joey wouldn't do that. Oh, I was doing it. I was out doing it. And like I said, I didn't drink or do drugs or even smoke cigarettes.
Burnouts right in front of the high school.
Oh,
Joey
yeah.
wouldn't do that.
This is one of my favorite stories. I had skipped school one day, and I just drove by it during school session, during like when everyone was out. I guess just to flaunt it or something.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
My
Not a good
friend
idea.
Jeff, rest in peace, Jeff. God bless his soul. He went to heaven long ago. He saw me in I think it was my El Camino at the time. Jay! And so he comes running. I'm like still going about 5 or 10. He jumps in the back. Our principal's wife, who was maybe some sort of authority figure,
Yeah.
yells at us, "You boys!" And she's running behind my car as I
no.
squeal the tires and take off and leave the scene.
You kidnapped a student.
I did,
basically,
man.
even though you were a student.
Yeah, I did. I showed back
Well,
up.
but he jumped in
He jumped in willingly.
yeah. So that when
But we were laughing so hard because
But
she was yelling at us while we
your
were driving.
parents, whenever they told you, they said he wouldn't do that, or whenever they told your parents, or you're just saying that,
I don't remember my parents ever even finding out about it.
Oh.
This was a long time
That's
ago.
pretty nice.
guys.
Now they would call in.
I'm sure now the police would be called.
Oh,
or
yeah.
something. Back
Yeah, for
then,
sure.
they were just like, they're stupid anyway.
Yeah.
They're not going to graduate or become anything. Let's just let them drive away.
Let's just let them go to the hamburger stand they're going to be working in anyway. Yeah.
That's probably what they thought. It's not worth a phone call. Screw them.
It's just going to be a podcaster one of these days. Let them go. Get them out of our hair.
Jeff would end up dying in a four-wheeler wreck, being chased by police a few years later.
Oh, wow.
Not very many years later. Yeah, man. I've told that story before. That's wild. But
Yeah.
back to these ladies, okay? Back to these young ladies who disappeared. So the cops are like, they ran away, right? They'll be back. They even thought for some reason, so Flint, Michigan was about 2 hours south.
Okay.
And so the cops are like, I bet they went to Flint.
Yeah.
Don't know why. Maybe they were thirsty. Wanted some of that water.
They have a
down
mall there.
there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the water. Yeah, yeah.
I thought I'd throw that in.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So yeah, this is the 60s. Hitchhiking was real common back then. And since the girls had last been seen walking down the highway, some thought it made sense that they just hitched somewhere. Both Pam and Patty's families strongly disagreed. They wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
It was rumored that both girls were dabbling a little in the devil's lettuce.
Oh, they did it for sure then.
And yeah. And alcohol. Okay. Which they probably were. It was the freaking 60s and they were teenagers. They probably were.
Yeah.
But if every kid who smoked a doobie and took a drink of Budweiser back in the 60s disappeared, humanity would have stopped in America.
Yes.
Like none of us would exist.
Yeah.
None of our parents would have
Yeah, no.
made it out.
It wouldn't have happened. Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't mean they were bad kids if they were
Sure.
dabbling around in that. So one fact is neither one of them had ever run away before.
Okay.
Both girls were pretty close with their families. Both girls seemed pretty happy. Remember, Pam had also just gotten engaged. What's more, neither girl had taken their purses or any additional belongings with them when they left. They definitely didn't seem like good candidates for runaways. Unfortunately, though, this is what the police believed, and this is more than likely why the girl's case doesn't seem to have been worked very hard. Hardly anyone was interviewed or investigated concerning their disappearance for the first few crucial days and even weeks. So there's like a lot of precious stuff lost.
Yeah.
You know, like they
Yeah.
call it the first 48 for something.
Yeah. But that's I would imagine that topic has been taught a lot since in like academies and things. Like it's pretty early for something like that.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. So, as the months passed, both girls' families continued to conduct their own searches and post flyers. Pam was 5'7" with brown eyes and long dark hair, parted down the middle. On the day she disappeared, she was wearing a 3/4 length white imitation fur coat with brown trim, a long sleeve blouse and ruffled cuffs, a brown and white plaid skirt, white knee socks, chunky shoes with a thick heel, like the most 60s outfit I can possibly imagine.
Yeah. It sounds like it.
Patty stood 5'3" and 110 pounds. She had dirty blonde hair and blue eyes. She was last seen wearing a gray-green plaid jacket, a brown sweater, a matching brown tweed or plaid skirt, brown shoes with a thick heel, and a silver necklace with a peace symbol on it. Again, so 60s, man.
Yeah.
Then the months turned into years, and the years flew by, and still no clue of what happened to the missing teenagers.
Wow.
For decades, Pam's youngest sister, Mary, was still putting up flyers around Oscoda, reminding the town that one of their native residents was still missing with no answers. Years later, subsequent law enforcement officers at the Oscoda PD investigated the girls' cases in depth. Years after the disappearance, a man came forward and told the police that he had seen the girls hitchhiking that day as they walked along River Road, and that he had picked them up and driven them 2 miles into town, where he dropped them off at a gas station where River Road met Interstate 23 in Oscoda.
Better late than never.
Yeah, so speaking of that, when asked why he'd waited so long to come forward, he said he hadn't. He told police at the time, back in 1969, but they didn't pay him any attention.
Oh.
So he did tell them before.
Told the wrong officer, or
Yeah.
or he's saying he did that. Maybe he really didn't. I don't know.
I don't know.
There's no way to know.
Maybe he didn't, or he did, and at the time, cop, if you're already thinking that the girls had hitchhiked,
That's true.
There's my answer. They did.
Well, somebody heard it and it's like, well, that doesn't work in with our hunch.
Right. You mean you didn't take him to Flint? Get out of here.
Then we know they went to Flint. Why do you know that? Because we think they did. And that's what we've always thought. So that's what it is. Hey, Stephen Coppinger even talked about that. It's like you can have like your idea of what happened, but you can't let it. I think he said like something like cloud.
Yes.
New ideas and new evidence and things like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can't let
So
it
it wasn't.
delegate.
Doesn't sound like these guys were Stephen Coppinger.
No.
Quality.
No, they didn't.
Maybe they were. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know anything about anything. We've been on this case for 15 minutes. I don't want to offend anyone.
Well, we're going to
from
solve
the
it.
60s.
Yeah.
Oh, we are.
They're all dead by now. No, we're not going to solve it.
Oh, okay.
And they're all
I thought
dead
you meant.
now.
I thought you meant this was one of those solved ones.
Nah, we don't.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Spoiler.
So, yeah, this guy said he had told the police about it back in 69 and had not heard anything else from them. So then after time passed and everyone started saying the last time the girls were seen was walking from school, he was like, Nope, I need to set this record straight. It's likely that since the police thought the girls had simply run away, the fact that some guy had driven them a couple miles into town didn't seem relevant. The police have investigated the man's claims, and apparently they believe him and have cleared him of any involvement.
Okay.
I don't know based on what, but that's the deal.
But man, that could have changed the whole search area and everything.
Yeah. So we know
Focus. Yeah.
this is what's weird, and I don't know how they discovered this that many years later, but additional information was eventually discovered that placed the girls in Oscoda in town as late as 2 p.m. that day.
Okay.
This was well after he'd given them a ride. So, a couple hours after they left school. So in 2002, there was a brief glimmer of hope when the Hobleys the Hobleys and Spencers were contacted by the FBI. A body had just been discovered in the All Sable Woods south of town, and there was suspicion that it could be that of Pam or Patty. DNA samples from both families were collected, and neither matched the unidentified body. Then in 2000, and I don't know who that body was, by the way. Then in 2010, Mark David became the new police chief, and he wasted no time diving into the cold case. He was 12 when the girls went missing, and he remembered hearing about it firsthand. So, like, when he got in there, he went straight to their case file. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And we talked to Stephen about that. He said that when you had downtime, you had the big database full of all the cold case, and you could look through them. I thought that was really cool because I wonder how I never really knew how that worked.
I didn't either.
But he said they had a lady that kept it all and gave it to their people. That was cool.
That's
that was
awesome.
A neat thing to see, like kind of behind the scenes type of thing.
Yeah, we would have never known that otherwise.
Yeah.
If not for Steve.
I just thought they were like, well, I'll go down to some basement with a bunch of, here's a dusty file folder. Yeah.
Yeah, you described it as like the Indiana
Yeah.
Jones
Yeah.
big warehouse.
It's not like that.
So one of the first tips David investigated had been reported back in 1985, claiming the girls were buried under a barn on Brooks Road, which is about 8 miles west of Oscoda. In August of 2011, Chief David and some fellow investigators excavated the barn and searched the nearby area with cadaver dogs, but they found nothing.
At GPR.
Yeah. I think they did, but I didn't read about that. But I think they did later.
Okay.
At some point, the Center for Missing and Exploited... I just forgot how to read. At some point, the Center for Missing and Exploited Children became involved, and there was renewed hope that this would result in a breakthrough, but it didn't happen. There is no shortage of places that the girls' bodies could have been hidden if they were murdered in the area. Obviously, Lake Huron is right there, but as we covered in our Murder in the Mountains series on the murders of David Till and Brian Ogenin, which, listen to that series if you haven't. That was a fun one.
Pigs.
Pigs ate the Bronco. Fed it to the pigs. Most of northern Michigan is covered by dense forest. It's very remote up there.
Yeah.
Also, the Pine River and All Sable Rivers converge by town and run through, not to mention the fact that the massive Van Eaton, I believe is what it's called, lake, and another body of water called the Foot Dam Pond are right there by Oscoda. As far as I know, none of those bodies of water have ever been searched.
Yeah.
In other words, Oscoda is surrounded by endless places to hide bodies.
It's a weird statement.
Yeah, just bodies everywhere. You can hide them.
That's not something the real estate people tell people, potential buyers.
Now, you've got 42 acres up here, and only, 1,800 square feet is covered by a house, which leaves basically 42 acres to hide all the bodies you want.
Yeah.
That's the
The murderer's dream.
Well, I wanted a bigger house, but you got me with the 42 acres. I'll take it. I don't know.
What's his name? Bundy buys property.
Yeah.
That sounds like a twisted Far Side comic or something. Anyway, which some Far Sides are kind of twisted.
Well, whoa, what was that? I heard a sound. Was that on the...
Swing and a miss. That's because my joke didn't land. That's what you need to do. I love it.
John Wayne Gacy could have used 42 acres. He wouldn't have had to bury all those people under his house.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and then because he lived in a neighborhood.
Sure did. That sounded like a Norm Macdonald thing.
Isn't it so crazy? I always bring this up. It is so crazy that they joked around at the local, was it at a bar or whatever? They would joke about John Wayne's basement smelling, like stinking. Like,
oh.
I read about that one time. Locals would be like, they would make little jokes like, smells like John Wayne's basement in here.
Yeah, yeah. Spray some Febreze, Tommy.
But that's before they realized he had bodies in there.
Yeah, man.
He spread lime down there and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's so weird.
Isn't that wild?
I want to rethink all my jokes.
The killer
What if
clown.
I'm joking about a killer? It's like, this has got more blood spatter on him than old Billy Jenkins. Oh, wait. I've been joking about him for years.
He's the guy. Well, listen, there was a serial killer in the area. You want to talk about him?
Yeah, I do. The Happy Face Killer.
Oh, my God. Another suspect of this case that most people seem to miss is the Wurtsmith. Oh, wait. Go back, Sam. I misread it.
Wait. How can he
Set him up,
He doesn't
Sam.
have,
Go
he doesn't have
knock him.
Joe TiVo. He can't skip.
Yeah, I'm just Now we're going to go again. Do we have any live listeners left?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys.
Hey.
I apologize.
Welcome. Hope you catch up.
The only thing I haven't done
We
is...
are going back now, though. So
We
that
are.
helps.
We're going to go back in time.
Yes.
In time. I haven't farted in the mic yet. That's the only thing left.
Oh, we'll do that.
I had Sam shaking his head.
That's for
Okay,
the end.
ready?
But
Ready?
It's got to be your mic.
Another aspect of this case that most people seem to miss is the Wurtsmith Air Force Base. Although it was decommissioned in 1993, back in 1969 it was very much in operation. Oscoda itself had only about 1,000 residents, but the Air Force Base had over 3,000 people on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, tons of people right there. Tons of potential suspects. There have always been rumors that some local ne'er-do-well killed the girls, but what if it was someone off that Air Force Base? It
Do we have any people? Oh, you're going to say that we have somebody.
No,
okay.
it would be interesting to see a list of every male employed at the base at the time and run a check to see if any of those guys had ever had any sexual offenses or violent. Yeah.
Cross-reference, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they did that.
I would hope. I don't know. I mean,
Man, if there's any like true crime sleuths that don't just want to talk about cases, they actually want to investigate, you could probably do some library stuff and you could probably have some good stuff there.
If I was a better podcaster, I would have done it probably, but I didn't.
Oh, that's not going to get
Maybe
us
I
any.
will.
That's not going to get us any subs and likes.
W.
We got to do these things fast. We can't really investigate them.
Crank them out. We can't have any substance. WURTSMITH, Wurtsmith Air Force Base. If anyone wants to see, a list of, I don't know how you do that, but if you could find a list of all the males employed there at the time, this would be late 1969.
Oh, Gary Ridgway. Private
Holy
Gary
shit!
Ridgway.
Oh my God, we solved it. This may have already been done. Like I don't know if it has, but if it has, no, I haven't heard anything about it. For some reason, I have seen the name John Norman Collins associated with Pam and Patty's case. So that's the serial killer I was talking about. He was convicted of murdering one girl and allegedly killing 5 more between 1967 and 1969. Sorry.
I'm surprised. I never heard of him.
I haven't either. But there was so much talk about it was this guy. It took like 30 seconds of Googling for me to find out that this guy was cleared because he was arrested. He was in jail. He'd been arrested 3 months before the girls went missing.
Oh, okay.
So he was in custody. So everybody on Reddit and everybody in the comment section on the YouTube videos, he was in jail.
Or was he? Doesn't fit my narrative.
Maybe he had a doppelganger.
Yeah.
Ever think of that?
Maybe
Idiot.
you got out on jail leave.
Yeah. Then you have to say a mean thing to the person. That's how it works on the internet in the comments. You can't just be like, well, what if he escapes? They have to be like, what if he escaped, you stupid piece of shit? I'm like, why does it always have to be so aggressive? Just say maybe he escaped. You would think that, wouldn't you, you stupid idiot?
Because if their real name's not tied to it, they can just say whatever.
Yeah. It's like Bunghole 69 is the guy's name, and there's a picture of a girl's boobs. I've literally seen that exact thing. I didn't even make that up. That happened.
You should listen to me. I have a lot of really good ideas. I'm really smart. Sorry.
I don't even remember what it was one time. There was some deal that I made the mistake of commenting on a YouTube video. And it was just, I can't even remember what it was about. But my comment was only like, well, I think maybe it needs more research. And this guy responded to me, and he was like, you stupid SOB, idiot, inbred, moron, bucktooth, hillbilly. I mean, it was like this 4 sentences of expletives about me, and I was like, shoo, Lord have mercy. You really just went to the top shelf there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what do you do when someone actually does something to make you mad?
Yeah.
Like, you've already used all your stuff on this one guy for just making a lighthearted comment on YouTube. Now what do you do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that other than
There's nothing to say.
You go.
Humanity's doomed. That's what we're going to say.
Well, I think most people aren't doing that.
Yeah.
But the people that are just so loud.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's depressing.
That's the problem. Yeah.
It's been 54 years since 2 teenage girls walked into town and were never seen again. Pam would be 69 and Patty would be 70 if they were still alive today. Pam's sister Mary said their mother continued to buy Pam birthday and Christmas presents for years,
Man.
in hopes that one day she'd return and be able to open them. But finally she gave up and took them all to be donated. Both Pam and Patty's mothers went to their graves without ever knowing what happened to their daughters. If anyone listening knows anything about this case, and you never know, man. You never know. I don't know why I did that. You never know, man.
I like it.
We got listeners everywhere.
Yeah.
We do. We ain't got many, but they're scattered. That's for sure. They're scattered all over the place.
Yep.
To the 4 winds.
That's right.
So if any of y'all know anything about this case or something that might help, call the Oscoda Police Department at 989-739-9111.
Or for anything else, 4174 Mantis. If you want to tell us and have us tell them, you should tell them directly. But just in case you don't want to be that person, we can deliver that.
What if the answer to all these missing person cases, the ones that where the body was never found, what if it was aliens?
Yeah.
All these people were just like thousands of people being abducted.
Well, what if it's just like a decent percentage?
Yeah.
Let's say it's 30%. Like, that immediately, everyone thinks the detective's more favorable. It's like, hey, a third of those they could have never solved. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because aliens took them.
Yeah.
And aliens, they're not leaving any prints.
No, man. They're too smart.
Yeah. Well, anything they left behind would not be recognizable. You know, it would not be anything of this earth, so they would not be a suspect.
Yeah.
Unless, you know, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
We found this foot-long metal tube with a handle on the end with the insignia Butt Probe 2000. It was left by the...
But it would be in a different language, so they wouldn't know. They'd have to
that's
decipher
true.
it.
It'd be like hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
It'd be like butt cheeks with a long rod. That's their hieroglyphics for butt probe. That's where my mind goes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, so like if it would be the equivalent of us like abducting an ant, because chances are their level of, you know, what they could mentally process has to be more than us if they've made it to this planet to where they can actually abduct one of us.
Yeah.
So it'd just be like us abducting an ant.
I wonder, like every day I save at least a dozen spiders out of my pool. I don't know how they end up in there, you know, but I'll just, you know,
I do too. I save little random things all the time.
So I'm wondering, like, do they think I'm a god or something? Like I saved,
if they can, yeah.
I've saved so many lives, and then I just set them on the concrete, and they just scurry away.
So, yeah, I've been stung a whole bunch of times by red wasps. The other day, there was one just like out on the tree, and it was like moving really slow. So I was thinking, oh, this is probably a guy like trying to find some food before like I don't know what they do in the winter.
Yeah,
maybe they find a little place to hide for, you know. So he was moving really slow. I didn't want him near the tree because Sagan was out there, so I thought he might, like, you know, sting him when he's trying to play or whatever. So I put him in a little cup and took him to the backyard and let him go. And he did this like loop. He flew around my head and then he flew away. And I swear we had a connection. I'm not trying to be hippie. I'm not trying to be anything right now.
Yeah.
But I swear it was like, you know, he could have came back and stung me, you know. But I mean, he just like did a loop around my head really close, like where I could hear his little wings buzzing. And then he kind of flew away. Yeah, I made that same.
He said, "Thank you."
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt like. And I don't care if that's weird.
It's not weird.
I don't care if people think that's weird.
I don't care either.
I don't care if 8 people on YouTube thinks that's weird.
Yeah, I don't care either. I really don't. I will swim out into the middle of my pool in the freezing cold to save, you know, a butterfly. That's I see them flutter. I don't give a crap. I'm
because
getting softer.
you see yourself out there in the cold water.
I do feel that's called empathy, bro.
Yeah,
it's like I feel that when that little spider. You know what they do when they give up? They go on their back and spread out.
Yeah.
Before that, they just ball up. You see a little ball. You can't even tell it's a spider. And then when I put my palm in the water, and when you come up under them, they go, bloop, they just pop out like, oh, something solid to stand on. Thank God, you know.
Yeah.
Save them and out. And then my wife's over there gagging because she has like arachnophobia.
Yeah.
But then, so I wonder if there's this large group of spiders living around my house that like every time I walk out in the backyard, they're like, oh, hell. Tall ginger one,
like the little squeaky toys from Toy Story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In the claw machine.
It's the chosen one. It saves us and all our friends.
Tommy fell in the water. 'Tis okay.
Yeah.
The tall ginger one will save him. Just wait. He saved all of us. He died for our sins.
There's a whole spider religion, and you're the deity.
I find.
But it won't be for a few thousand years. They're going to write about you.
Oh yeah.
And then some people are going to be like, I bet Joe didn't even exist. Really?
I bet he didn't.
It's just a bunch. There's a man wanting to save a spider from a pool. It's a bunch of junk.
I find like a spider web behind the barn that's like has my likeness sewn into it. Like, damn, they do. This is awesome. I can like train them to attack people. Like if I get millions of spiders, I'm unstoppable.
That's what you're going for, yeah.
Yeah.
It'd kind of be like Ant-Man in a way.
A little bit, yeah. Remember that movie with Crispin Glover where he was like the Rat King or whatever? It was really creepy, weird movie.
Yeah, I remember him doing it, but I never watched it.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway,
He thought he was the lead in Back to the Future. That's why he wanted Back to the Future lead star money, and they wouldn't give it to him.
yeah.
So then they cut him out.
And he was all like, he disagreed with how it ended or something, right?
Now, well, I don't know about that, but I do know. I mean, if you watched, I showed Sagan the one scene about the Biff in the car and how he punched him, because he was talking about bullies, and I was like, I've got the most iconic bully scene ever. So I showed him because I thought he might want to watch the movie, even though it's too early for him to watch that movie. But it's so important to me.
I'm letting my 5-year-old watch Spaceballs. It's good.
Yeah, see, so I showed him that scene, but I'm thinking, like, if you saw that scene, the guy punching the bully, and the bully is knocked out, you might think for a minute that's the lead of that movie. But if you watch the rest of the movie, you know that it's Marty McFly.
It's Doc and Marty, mainly
totally,
Marty.
totally.
How did he get it into his deranged head that, like, the father of the, like, how did he? I mean, he's in it a lot. I get it.
Yeah.
but he is nowhere near
Back to the
main
Future,
character.
starring Crispin Glover, co-starring Leah Thompson. Then third,
Also appearing briefly.
yeah, featuring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he thought it was like he was like Marty McFly, But no.
Didn't work out for him.
Yeah. That's what we do at the end of these podcasts.
We talk about a bunch of shit that has nothing to do with it.
That's right.
So, thank you all for listening. Now, again, next week we will have more Halloween disappearances. Yes, I know it's November now and Halloween's behind us, but like I said,
It's our favorite holiday.
it's our favorite holiday, and I accidentally just did a bunch of research on this, so this is what we're doing.
That works.
Thanks for listening and or watching. Once again, we appreciate you. Any final words, Jerry?
Yeah, DonnaMantis.com. Go to Facebook.com. That's not live yet for the people listening right now, but it will be live. And then, make sure 4174 Mantis.
From Redbeard Sound Studios.
Yeah, great place to be.
Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Woo! Who you chatting with, Sam?